The galaxy had always believed it understood power, and inside the vast circular chamber of the Galactic Council, that belief felt unbreakable. Representatives from 100 dominant species filled the towering tiers, their armored bodies gleaming beneath starlight streaming through the transparent dome. War burned across several sectors, and the Council had gathered to decide which civilization would lead the united assault against the relentless Vraxian hordes. One by one, powerful empires displayed their might. Colossal fleets, planetary shields, and genetically engineered soldiers marched across holographic projections, earning respectful murmurs from the audience. Each demonstration reinforced the same assumption: victory would belong to the strongest. When the moderator finally announced humanity, several delegates exchanged amused glances. Humans were new, divided, and militarily modest compared to ancient star empires. Their worlds lacked planetary cannons, and their fleets were small enough to be dismissed as ceremonial. Ambassador Elara Vance rose from her modest seat, dressed in a simple dark uniform without medals. She walked to the center platform as towering alien forms watched with polite curiosity. A hologram of Earth appeared above her palm, rotating slowly. Humanity offers infantry support, strategic analysis, and logistical coordination, she said calmly. A low ripple of laughter moved through the chamber. One armored warlord leaned forward, his mandibles clicking audibly. "You bring advisors to a war of extinction?" he asked. "Your species has never fought an enemy like this." Elara met his gaze without flinching. "That is correct," she replied. "We have not." Another delegate projected casualty simulations, showing human forces overwhelmed within minutes. More laughter followed, louder this time. The moderator cleared his throat and attempted diplomacy, suggesting humanity assist evacuation efforts instead. Elara inclined her head slightly, accepting the diminished role without protest. "Humanity will support the Alliance in whatever capacity is required," she said. To most observers, her composure looked like quiet surrender. The Council moved on quickly, awarding primary command to the largest empires. Yet as Elara returned to her seat, a small encrypted device in her sleeve pulsed once. She pressed it discreetly, activating a secure channel. Far beneath a desert on Earth, a hidden facility received the signal. Rows of sealed armored suits stirred within containment fields, power cores humming softly. Technicians looked toward their commander as lights shifted from standby to active. A calm voice echoed across the underground chamber. Council session concluded, it announced. Initiate Mark III readiness. 6 massive armored figures stood silently in their cradles, waiting for the war that the galaxy believed humanity was too weak to fight, unaware that its smallest member had never come to the Council seeking permission to lead, only time to prepare something no empire had ever witnessed before. Deep beneath the shifting dunes of the Saharan exclusion zone, the Prometheus command complex awakened fully for the first time in years. Vast blast doors sealed, isolating the subterranean city from every satellite and scanner beyond its shielded crust. White light spilled across polished floors as engineers and soldiers moved with disciplined urgency. At the heart of the facility, 6 towering exosuits stood within magnetic suspension frames, their matte black surfaces absorbing illumination like fragments of night. Each frame bore subtle silver markings, designating unit numbers and pilot assignments. Director Adrian Morrow entered the central bay with measured steps, hands clasped behind his back. He paused before the first suit, studying its armored silhouette as status readouts scrolled along transparent panels. Mark III battle armor fully synchronized, an operator reported. Neural integration stable across all candidates. Morrow nodded once. Begin pilot arrival. A side corridor opened, releasing 6 figures in dark tactical uniforms. They walked without ceremony, expressions calm, movements efficient. Years of classified training had carved precision into every step. Sergeant Cole Harkin stopped before his assigned suit, placing a gloved hand against its chest plate. "Systems ready," he said. One by one the pilots entered their armor. Segmented plates opened, allowing bodies to slide into reinforced cores. Neural connectors aligned along spines and temples, linking human reflexes with machine response. Internal displays ignited, flooding their vision with targeting grids and tactical data. "Integration complete," announced the system. Hydraulic locks sealed as the armor rose from its frame. Each step resonated with contained power, servos whispering rather than roaring. Harkin flexed his gauntlet fingers, watching microthrusters respond instantly. Across the bay, Corporal Lena Vasquez rotated her shoulders, testing balance and enhanced strength. Feels lighter than the prototypes, she remarked. Morrow approached, his reflection distorted across the suit's visor. Because it anticipates you, he replied. Adaptive lattice responds before muscle activation. You will move faster than thought. A massive display activated, projecting live war footage. Entire alien fleets collapsed under Vraxian assaults. Cities burned and defensive lines fractured across multiple systems. Silence settled over the chamber. Alliance command is losing, Morrow said quietly. They will request reinforcement within hours. Harkin looked toward the projection, then back to his squad. And when they do? Morrow allowed himself the faintest smile. Then humanity stops pretending to be small. Overhead alarms shifted tone, signaling incoming priority transmission. The council chamber appeared on the main screen, delegates now desperate, requesting immediate combat assistance. Morrow folded his hands. Prepare deployment, he ordered. 6 armored figures stepped forward together, magnetic clamps releasing with final certainty. Humanity had offered support before, but tonight it would deliver something the galaxy had never imagined possible in open war. The besieged world of Tauren burned beneath a fractured sky. Orbital defenses had collapsed hours earlier, leaving scattered Alliance forces pinned against the ruins of their final command citadel. Vraxian assault forms flooded the shattered avenues, numbering in the thousands, their bioengineered armor reflecting the glow of burning towers. Inside the last defensive perimeter, exhausted soldiers prepared for inevitable annihilation. All fleets destroyed, reported one officer. Evacuation impossible. The Allied commander watched the horizon, jaw tightening. Then we hold until the end. A sudden distortion rippled across upper atmosphere, subtle yet unmistakable. Sensors struggled to identify the incoming signature. No massive fleet emerged, only a single compact vessel slipping through debris fields. Unknown craft approaching, said the tactical officer. No Allied transponder. The commander frowned. At this stage nothing matters. Open channel. The response arrived calm and direct. Human Expeditionary Unit requesting landing clearance. Confusion spread across the command deck. One vessel, someone asked. You cannot be serious. Outside, 6 narrow drop pods detached from the craft, igniting controlled descent thrusters. They cut through smoke and debris streaking toward the besieged city. Vraxian forces detected the descent and redirected swarms toward the projected impact zones. 6 pods? The commander whispered. That is their reinforcement? The pods struck the central boulevard in perfect formation, embedding into fractured pavement. Hydraulic bolts released. Steam vented. One by one, armored figures stepped from the smoking capsules. Black plating, seamless and imposing, reflected the inferno around them. Visors glowed faintly as external sensors activated. Hundreds of Vraxian forms charged instantly. Harkin surveyed the battlefield, tactical overlays mapping every hostile vector. Engage, he said quietly. What followed unfolded faster than any observer could process. One armored soldier vanished in a blur, reappearing behind enemy lines with silent precision. Another advanced directly into concentrated fire, kinetic barriers bending projectiles away. Vasquez leapt forward, impact thrusters driving her through multiple adversaries with devastating force. Targeting systems predicted trajectories, adjusting armor density mid-movement. Explosions erupted, yet the 6 figures moved through chaos untouched. Within minutes the charging swarm faltered. Within more it broke. Alliance soldiers watched in stunned silence as thousands of Vraxian units fell across shattered streets. The sky itself seemed to pause. Harkin opened a secure channel. Perimeter stabilized, he reported. Requesting additional targets. On distant ships and worlds, commanders stared at incoming footage, unable to reconcile what they were witnessing. 6 human soldiers standing where entire armies had fallen, advancing calmly into a battlefield that had already surrendered to them before the wider galaxy even understood the war had changed forever in those burning streets beneath a broken alien sky of defeat and rising human supremacy beyond all previous expectations or calculations of survival. Across the interconnected networks of the Galactic Council, emergency feeds replaced every scheduled transmission. Footage from Tauren streamed into command centers, diplomatic halls and military flagships. Delegates who had once laughed at humanity now watched in stunned silence. The recordings showed black armored figures moving with controlled inevitability, dismantling a force that had shattered entire fleets. Data analysts attempted to measure energy outputs, reaction speeds and defensive thresholds, Yet every projection returned impossible results. There must be an error, one strategist insisted. No infantry platform can sustain that level of adaptive response. Another replayed the moment a single armored soldier redirected artillery fire with a shifting kinetic field. There is no error, she said quietly. We are witnessing a new class of warfare. In the Central Council chamber, representatives reconvened under urgent summons. Holographic displays filled the air, looping scenes of the Tauran engagement. Murmurs replaced the earlier arrogance. Questions followed, cautious and uneasy. When Ambassador Elara Vance entered, every gaze shifted toward her. She walked to the center platform once more, posture composed, expression unreadable. No laughter greeted her this time. The moderator spoke first, voice carefully controlled. Humanity has deployed assets beyond previously declared capacity, he said. The Council requests clarification. Elara regarded the assembly briefly before responding. Humanity offered support appropriate to the information provided, she said. Current conditions required adjustment. A senior warlord leaned forward, tone cautious rather than mocking. How many of these armored units exist? Elara allowed a small pause. Enough to conclude this conflict, she answered. Silence deepened across the chamber. Strategic projections recalculated rapidly, now factoring human intervention as a dominant variable. Several empires transmitted private inquiries, requesting alliances or technology exchanges. Elara declined each with polite neutrality. Humanity remains committed to collective security, she stated. However, certain systems will remain sovereign. Far from the chamber, Mark III units continued their advance across contested worlds, stabilizing fronts that had nearly collapsed. Each victory spread new calculations through galactic command structures. Humanity was no longer categorized as minor. It was no longer underestimated. It had become the variable every strategist now measured first. Back within the council, the moderator lowered his head slightly. The Alliance thanks you, he said. Elara offered a restrained nod. Humanity is simply fulfilling its responsibilities. Yet as the session adjourned, many delegates remained seated, studying the human ambassador with new understanding. The smallest member of their alliance had revealed strength capable of reshaping every balance of power, and though humanity spoke softly, the echo of its armored footsteps now carried across the galaxy, promising protection for allies and quiet warning for any force that might one day mistake restraint for weakness again in the ages still to come.